So I featured Tribus on my channel a few times. The first time I featured them on my channel, I featured their TRI-01, which is their small seconds, COSC certified automatic. It had a cream colored dial. I thought it was an absolutely beautiful watch. I did think it was very expensive. Fast forward a few months and we get to their 70% off sale. They had a 70% off sale, so I did a video on that sale because I thought the prices were exceptional for the watches that you were getting. Basically, all of their COSC certified watches on sale for 70% off. Some of them are GMTs. I actually purchased one of their GMTs. This is the TRI-03. It comes in the exact same packaging as their other watches. It has an outer cardboard box in a bluish color. It is signed Tribus. Inner box is a wood box. It has a push button enclosure. I would like to see a travel case, as I do with all watches that I review. However, considering the price, this is not that bad. You get that push button right there. It's just a metal push button. You open that up. Inside you have warranty information. Of course, you have a watch. And then you have the COSC certification papers right here. It just gives you, the accuracy of the movement, serial number and everything. Really pretty awesome. This is the SOPROD powered GMT. They have two different versions on their website, the SOPROD powered, and then they have a Sellita powered. I believe the Sellita is the SW310. This is the SOPROD 125, which is essentially their competition to the Sellita SW310 or the ETA 2893. It is a office GMT, so that means when you're operating the GMT, that GMT hand right there, that is actually what moves, not the local hour hand. So that's something to consider when purchasing this. Again, considering the price, the original price on this was around $1,700, excuse me. With that 70% off sale, this came out to be just over $500. Those small second watches, they have just a small seconds, a very similar setup to this watch. Those were around $450, $460 here in the United States. So excellent prices that they had on their website. And in fact, I believe they still have some of those watches up for sale. So if you are interested, definitely check out their website. They still have some watches for sale on their website. Now, I'm just going to zoom in the camera really quickly so that we can get a little bit of a closer look at this dial. So there you go. You can see I bought the cream colored dial again. The first watch was actually lent into the channel, and on that video I said that I thought it was a pretty incredible watch. However, I thought it was very expensive. It was in the territory where you could buy something like a Hamilton or something even nicer than that for that $1,400 for a time-only, basically small second COSC certified watch. I thought it was on the more expensive side. I didn't think it was out of the ballpark, but I thought it was very expensive. Now, at $400 or $500, which is what we're looking at right now, especially for a GMT, I think that's an insanely good value. This is a GMT, as I mentioned. It is the SOPROD 125. You get that GMT right there at the 6 o'clock, but you also get a power reserve right there at the 12 o'clock. This gets a screwed-in crown because you get 150 meters of water resistance. So there's a lot of specs here as well. Very, very well spec'd watch. Very good looking. Applied indices, those indices are sort of a mirror polish. I'm going to just wind the watch so you can see as I wind, that power reserve goes up. Pretty awesome. It just says Tribus right there, the logo, and then it says chronometer. I wish it didn't say either of those, but it's fine. I think they have to put the logo somewhere, but I think it does work, and I really love this cream dial. This was one of the highlights of that TRI-01. I thought it was incredible. I thought that the dial was really, really special. You got to see the Sellita movement, which I don't think is all that great. However, in this watch, you get to see the SOPROD movement. Now, the SOPROD movement is actually something to look at. It's a lot better looking than the Sellita movement. Is it better looking than the Sellita SW310? Maybe not. It's probably on par with it, but it is different. So you're going to see the SW310 more often than you're going to see this movement because less watches use it. You get a screwed-in case back, screwed-in crown, as I mentioned, 150 meters of water resistant, and you get to see the movement, which is pretty awesome. I really do think this is a very well constructed watch. Everything is finished beautifully. So it has essentially the same case as the 01, except you do have a pusher right here. That's to operate the GMT. And unfortunately, they didn't put a button. I think that would have knocked off the symmetry, so they didn't do that. They do give you a little bit of a tool here to operate it. It is made out of metal, so you have to be careful not to scratch your watch. But you can see that operates the GMT. Now, I'm not sure if you love that or hate it. It does have a little bit of a hole in here that you could put it on a key ring, I guess. You can see the hole when I put it over the dial because it's a black background. But it's just a little plastic tool. It's nothing too crazy, but you could do that with a toothpick, anything that you have around the house that you want to actually change. It's not like it's branded or something like that. But if you're traveling and you want to change the GMT on the fly, that is a little bit more difficult. But usually if you're traveling, you know where you're going, you could change that ahead of time, or what you can do is just carry a toothpick rather than carrying this little metal thing. That's what I would do. Anyway, I think it's a very nice case. You have sort of a very sloped bezel here. It's just a smooth bezel. Everything is brushed. There is a chamfered edge along the case back and the front of the case, and then the case back itself is all polished, and then the case back is polished. You have screws, and then you have circular brushing, and there's just a little bit of information about the watch there. You have quick release on the strap. This is a cav leather strap with sort of cream stitching that matches that cream dial. What a beautiful dial on this watch. It really is beautiful. Now, measurements on here, it's 41 millimeters. It's exactly 41 millimeters. It's a little bit smaller at the bezel, so let's just measure it at the bezel. 40.5 is what I'm measuring. Yeah, 40.5. At the case, it's 41 millimeters exactly, basically 41.1, 41 right there. But it looks like a 41 to 42 millimeter because you have a very thin and, as I mentioned, very sloped bezel. So you get a lot of dial area. The dial looks huge, and because of that. And it also gets a pretty decent lug-to-lug of around 50 millimeters, I want to say, which wears actually pretty good on my wrist, but it may not wear that great for people with smaller wrists, but 50.2 millimeters. The crown is a pretty decently sized crown for the size of the watch, 6.8 millimeters. And then the width, that's including the dome box sapphire crystal, 12.4 millimeters. So it's probably in the neighborhood of around 12 millimeters, maybe just below 12 millimeters without that sapphire crystal. But I think it does wear pretty nicely on your wrist. I'm going to show it to you in just a second. And there's the buckle. The buckle is like a bespoke buckle. It is fully polished, and it just says Tribus on there. Really nice attention to detail on these watches. I think they do an incredible job. I just didn't think that these were worth the price that they were asking, specifically because you can go to Christopher Ward. Now, Christopher Ward owns this brand. The person, Christopher Ward, owns this brand with his sons. Christopher Ward, his namesake, the brand that I feature on this channel very, very often, Christopher Ward doesn't actually own that brand anymore. He's not associated with Christopher Ward, the brand. He is actually only associated with this brand and his sons. So it's a little bit of a conundrum because they actually sell COSC certified watches that are a little bit cheaper than this, and they are very, very well made, on par with this watch. So it's kind of, these are expensive. This is $1,700 plus import taxes, plus shipping. I don't actually think they actually charge shipping, so that's not the case, but I didn't pay shipping on this, even though it was on sale, so they actually included shipping as well, which is really good. This does not get lume. I believe the previous version that I featured on the channel, the TRI-01, did have lume. This does not. So very quickly, I'm going to show you the watch that I have on my wrist, then we'll wrap this up. I'm going to be doing a full review on this, so you guys can see it in full detail, and I'll be wearing it over the next few weeks, and I'll do a full review so you guys could get an idea of how this wears. And hopefully the Christopher Ward sale is coming up in January. That's 50% off. Hopefully there's a few watches on that sale as well. I'll definitely be partaking in that. There's a few watches from Christopher Ward that I have my eye on. I already own a Christopher Ward. Now I own a Tribus, so obviously I'm a fan of their work. Very quickly, the watch that I have on today is a Mont Blanc. This is their Heritage GMT, and I wore this specifically during this video because I wanted to make a point. This is a Mont Blanc It is a watch that is powered by the ETA. Oh no, actually, it is a Sellita SW310. So this is a GMT version of the Sellita SW300. It's basically almost the same size. I think this is around 40 millimeters, I want to say. So it's just a little bit over 40 millimeters. It's just on the 40 millimeter mark there. And this retails for $3,000, $1,000 more than this watch. You do get a nicer strap on here. This is a crocodile strap, so it's a little bit, a lot nicer than the strap that's on this watch. And this also has some heritage to it. It's not really that much heritage because they haven't been making watches very, very long, but they use some of that Minerva heritage in their branding, so you do get that as well. It's crazy what watch brands charge for watches. So this is $500. I would imagine you'd be able to get this for around $800 or $900. Really, it depends on what you like, but I think that's crazy. That is really crazy. Both very, very good looking watches. But let me throw the Tribus on my wrist. I might have called it a Christopher Ward before, but it is not. It is made by Christopher Ward and his sons, but it is a Tribus. And there you go. So 41 millimeters on my 7.5 inch wrist. It really is a nice watch. I wore that other Tribus for a little while, just for a few days, and I thought it was pretty immense. This does not get lume, and I'll double check that, but I don't think there is any lume. No lume on here, which is disappointing. I wish they put lume on here. It doesn't make any sense. They put lume on their other watches. It would have made sense to put a little bit of lume on here. But either way, looks great. I love the strap. The strap is excellent. I think they did a very good job on this watch, and for $500 and something for a COSC certified watch, you cannot go wrong. For a COSC certified GMT, that's insane. For a certified GMT and a power reserve, that's pretty insane. Just a cool watch. But tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Did you pick up one? I know a lot of people in the comments of the videos that I've done started commenting that they were buying one. Which one did you get? Did you get it yet? I know a lot of people had problems getting it. It took a long time for me to get. Tell me in the comments below. I want to hear from you guys. Please also don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell icon. It is super helpful for the channel, and I very much appreciate it. Please follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is WatchChrisBlog. I have some links in the description. Those links are to Amazon. If you click those links and buy anything, it helps support the channel. It doesn't cost you anything extra. However, I very much appreciate it. Anyway, thank you for logging on. I'll catch you guys in the next video.